Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, we all go through seasons in life that can feel like we've wasted time, moments when things didn't go as planned, opportunities slipped through our fingers, or we face more setbacks than we'd like to admit. Maybe you feel like you've given so much and received so little in return. Perhaps you're wondering if those lost years will ever be restored, or if the time spent in hardship and waiting will ever make sense. But I want to remind you today that God is not a God of waste. He is a God of restoration, a God who specializes in taking what seems lost and bringing it back better than before. And if you are feeling like you've missed your chance or that time has passed you by, hear me clearly. God is about to restore those wasted years, and I believe there are clear signs that this restoration is on the way. When we go through difficult seasons in life, it often feels like we're stuck in a cycle of waiting or loss, and we start to believe that things will never change. Maybe you've been in a challenging season for a while, one where progress seems slow or even non-existent. Perhaps you face setback after setback, and it feels like the best opportunities are behind you. But I want to encourage you today, just as the seasons of nature change, so do the seasons of our lives, and a new season is coming for you. In the same way that winter gives way to spring and the cold, dark months are replaced with warmth and renewal, the tough seasons you've been enduring are not permanent. Every season has its purpose. Winter is necessary to prepare the earth for the life that comes in spring. The harshness of the cold weather clears away the old, making space for new growth to emerge. Likewise, the difficult seasons in your life, the ones that have drained you, disappointed you, or made you question your path, are preparing you for what's next. Though you may not always see it, there's a shift happening beneath the surface, one that will bring forth new opportunities and growth. A new season doesn't happen overnight. There's often a period of waiting, a time when things seem stagnant and the changes we hope for aren't immediately visible. But just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean that change isn't on the way. In fact, it's often in these moments of waiting that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating things in your favor. The changes that are coming in your life have been carefully planned by God, and He is preparing you to step into a new season of blessing and opportunity. When we are in the midst of a tough season, it's easy to lose sight of the fact that the old is making way for the new. We can become so focused on the struggles that we forget the purpose behind them. But a new season is coming, and it's going to be different than the one you've been in. It's going to be one where doors you thought were closed suddenly open, where opportunities you thought were out of reach become attainable, and where you start to see the fruits of the labor you've put in over the years. This new season is one of restoration. Just like the land that lies dormant in the winter is revived, in the spring your heart and spirit are being revived right now. Perhaps you've been through seasons of emotional exhaustion, disappointment, or pain. Maybe it feels like your energy's spent and you wonder if you'll ever feel fresh again. But I want to assure you that a new season is on the horizon. The restoration that's coming will not only bring you back to where you were before, but it will elevate you to a new place of peace, joy, and fulfillment. The years you thought were lost, the time you thought was wasted, are being redeemed. The beauty of a new season is that it's marked by fresh beginnings. God doesn't just take us back to where we were, He moves us forward into something better. A new season means new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences that will shape your future in ways you can't even imagine yet. It's not just about recovering what you've lost, it's about gaining what you never thought possible. The new season will bring forth blessings that will exceed your expectations. In this new season, there will be a sense of peace and purpose that you may not have felt in the past. You'll begin to see things from a different perspective, one that is full of hope and anticipation for what's to come. This is not a season of striving or struggling to make things happen. Rather, it's a season of trusting in God's timing and provision. You will step into this new season with confidence, knowing that the challenges of the past have only prepared you for the victories that are ahead. So don't despair during your current season. If things seem hard right now, remember that it's only temporary. Your new season is coming, and when it does, it will be a time of flourishing growth and restoration. Keep your eyes open. Keep your heart expectant, and trust that the God who brings about change in the natural world is also at work in your life, making all things new. In life, we often find ourselves in situations where we feel stuck or overlooked. We may be working hard, striving for progress, and yet opportunities seem distant, just beyond our reach. Perhaps you've been feeling that the doors you've knocked on have remained closed, or that your efforts haven't been recognized. But I want to tell you this, God has a way of bringing unexpected opportunities into your life at just the right moment. And when they come, They will be better than anything you could have planned for yourself. Sometimes we get so focused on the paths we think we should take or the doors we believe should open for us that we fail to notice the new opportunities God is bringing our way. These opportunities may not look exactly like what we imagined or hoped for, but they are the ones that are aligned with God's perfect timing and plan for our lives. They might come in forms we didn't expect through new people, new situations, or even new locations, but they will be the right opportunities, ones that will take us to places we never dreamed possible. The beauty of unexpected opportunities is that they often show up when we're not actively searching for them. Think about how many times you've been given a chance at something without having planned for it. Maybe you've received an unexpected job offer or an invitation to speak at an event when you least expected it. Maybe someone you didn't even know had been watching your progress and thought you would be the perfect person for an opportunity. These moments can be life-changing, but they require a heart that is open to seeing the possibilities and trusting that God is guiding you to where you need to be. When unexpected opportunities come, they often push us out of our comfort zones. We may feel unprepared or even fearful, wondering if we are ready for such a big leap. But I believe that when God opens a door, it's not about our readiness, it's about trusting in His ability to equip us for what's ahead. Sometimes it's stepping into the unknown that we experience the greatest growth. God will never give us an opportunity without the tools we need to succeed. The key is to have faith, embrace the unknown, and step forward with confidence. In many ways, these unexpected opportunities are a form of divine favor. They come at times when we might feel discouraged or as though our hard work has gone unnoticed. When you've been working for something and it seems like no one is paying attention, remember that God is always watching. Even in moments of silence or apparent inactivity, He is preparing you for a moment of favor that will take you to the next level. God's timing is never off. What may seem like a delay or a setback could very well be positioning you for something greater than you could have ever imagined. We must also be mindful of the fact that these unexpected opportunities are often signs of growth in our own lives. As we go through different seasons of preparation, we may not see the bigger picture. We might feel like we're stuck in a routine or that our efforts are not paying off, but in reality, we are being molded and shaped to take on bigger roles and responsibilities. When the right opportunity comes, it will feel like a natural extension of the person you've become through your previous experiences. These opportunities are not random. They are part of a divine plan that is unfolding in your life. Even when things seem uncertain, trust that God is always at work behind the scenes. We may not understand why certain things happen or why certain opportunities don't materialize when we want them to, but we can trust that God is always working for our good. He knows what we need before we even ask for it. And He will provide us with what we need at the exact moment we need it. His ways are higher than our ways, and His timing is always perfect. When unexpected opportunities come your way, embrace them with gratitude and excitement. They may challenge you, stretch you, and lead you down paths you never thought you would take. But they are a sign that God is working in your life. These moments of favor are meant to propel you forward into your destiny. Trust the process, believe in the possibilities, and know that God is opening doors for you that will change your life in ways you can't yet comprehend. Keep your heart open, your faith strong, and your eyes wide open, because the opportunities God is bringing are going to exceed your wildest expectations. There are times in life when we experience emotional pain, deep hurt, and disappointment that leave lasting scars on our hearts. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a broken relationship, betrayal, or unmet expectations, these wounds can feel heavy and the healing process can seem slow or even impossible. But I want to encourage you today, no matter how deep the hurt or how long you've carried it, God is in the business of healing hearts. The pain you've experienced doesn't define you, and it is not where your story ends. God is healing your heart, restoring what was broken and making you whole again. Healing isn't always immediate or easy. It can be a journey, one that requires patience, trust, and sometimes even tears. But the beautiful thing about God's healing is that it's not just about removing the pain. It's about renewing your spirit, giving you strength, and transforming your heart into something even stronger and more resilient. While healing may take time, it is always a process of restoration. You won't be the same person after the healing, because God doesn't just fix the broken pieces. He makes you whole in a way that is better than before. The first step in this healing process is recognizing that you don't have to carry the burden alone. So often we try to heal on our own, thinking that if we just ignore the pain or push through it, we'll get through it. But the truth is that true healing comes when we invite God into our brokenness. He sees every wound, every tear, and every fear, and He is not distant from your pain. In fact, He is closer than you realize, ready to bring His comfort and peace to your heart. Healing starts with surrendering our hurt to God and allowing Him to work in ways we can't fully understand. As God begins to heal our hearts, we experience a process of transformation. The pain that once felt unbearable begins to lose its grip on us. It doesn't mean that we forget the pain, but rather that it no longer has power over our future. We start to look at our scars not as reminders of suffering, but as signs of the strength that has come from enduring through it. The heart that once felt shattered now becomes more compassionate, more understanding, and more in tune with the hearts of others. God uses our brokenness to make us more empathetic, more loving, and more capable of showing grace to others who are walking through their own pain. Sometimes healing comes in unexpected ways. It may not happen the way we think it will, and it might not follow the timeline we had in mind. But when we trust God, we open the door for Him to heal us in ways that surpass our understanding. God heals us through His Word, through prayer, through the support of others, and sometimes even through our own personal growth. The people we meet, the lessons we learn, and the strength we gain all contribute to our healing, and all of this is part of the greater plan God has for our lives. Another powerful aspect of healing is forgiveness. Holding on to bitterness or anger only keeps the wound open and prevents us from moving forward. But when we forgive, whether it's forgiving others or even forgiving ourselves, we allow God to bring peace to our hearts. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what happened was okay, nor does it mean we forget the pain. It simply means that we are releasing the hold that pain has on us, and we are giving God the power to heal and restore. Forgiveness is a key that unlocks the door to healing, allowing God's love and peace to flood in and transform the hurt into healing. As your heart heals, you will begin to experience a deep sense of peace. The wounds that once made you feel anxious, fearful, or overwhelmed will no longer have the same power over you. Healing brings freedom. It releases you from the past and allows you to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. You will begin to trust again, love again, and live with the confidence that your past will not dictate your future. The healing God is bringing to your heart will make you whole again, stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the future He has for you. Remember, healing is not an overnight process, but it is a promise. God is healing your heart, restoring what has been broken, and making all things new. Trust Him in the process. Trust that He is working in you, and that the day will come when you will look back at your journey and realize just how far you've come. The hurt won't define you, but the healing will. You are being made whole, and your heart will be stronger, brighter, and more beautiful than before. Throughout our lives, we encounter many people, some who come and go, and others who leave a lasting impact. Some connections seem random, while others feel divinely orchestrated. These are the connections that shape our lives, help us grow, and lead us to places we could never have reached on our own. There is power in divine connections. When God places the right people in our lives at just the right time, it can change everything. These are the relationships that propel us forward, encourage us when we're weary, and open doors we never knew existed. If you've been waiting for a breakthrough, know that divine connections are part of God's plan to restore and elevate you. Sometimes we struggle with feelings of isolation, wondering if anyone truly understands us or if we'll ever find our place in the world. But God knows exactly who we need and when we need them. His timing is perfect, and when He brings the right people into our lives, it's because they are meant to help us fulfill the purpose He has for us. These connections are not just random encounters. They are divinely designed to shape us, challenge us, and encourage us to reach our highest potential. Divine connections often come in unexpected ways. It may be a friend you meet by chance, a mentor who reaches out to guide you, or just somebody who becomes a lifelong partner. The key is recognizing these connections when they come and understanding that they are not just ordinary relationships. God is at work in them, weaving them into the fabric of your life in ways you might not immediately see. But over time, you'll look back and realize how each person played a pivotal role in your journey. These divine connections are not just about receiving help, they are also about giving help. Often the people God places in our lives are there for us to invest in, to encourage, and to help them along their own paths. The beauty of divine connections is that they are reciprocal. God uses us to bless others as much as He uses others to bless us. You may be the answer to someone else's prayer, just as they may be the answer to yours. These relationships are built on mutual support, trust, and the understanding that we are all part of something bigger than ourselves. As you build these divine connections, they will encourage you to grow in ways you never imagined. These relationships will challenge you to be better, to reach higher, and to move past your limitations. God often uses the people He sends into our lives to stretch us, to push us out of our comfort zones, and to teach us valuable lessons. Sometimes these people bring wisdom, guidance, and encouragement that we wouldn't have received otherwise. At other times, they help us see areas of our lives that need to be transformed. Through their example, we learn what it means to live with integrity, humility, and grace. Not only do divine connections bring personal growth, but they also bring divine favor into our lives. These connections open doors that would have otherwise remained closed. It's not just about knowing the right people. It's about being connected to the right people who have the influence, the insight, and the ability to help you move forward. When God connects you with the right people, doors of opportunity open up that will change the course of your life. Whether it's a new job, a new project, or a new vision for your future, these connections are a means through which God brings His blessings into your life. It's important to remember that divine connections are often linked to God's larger purpose for your life. They aren't just for your benefit, they are part of the bigger picture of His plan. These relationships help align you with your calling, and they often provide the strength and encouragement you need to step into the next phase of your destiny. Sometimes divine connections will even lead you to places you didn't plan to go, but they will always lead you to where you're meant to be. In order to recognize and nurture these divine connections, you must stay open and attentive to the people God brings into your life. Be discerning, be willing to serve, and be prepared to receive. Sometimes we can miss these connections because we're too focused on our own plans, or we're not paying attention to what's right in front of us. But when we open our hearts and minds to God's guidance, He will lead us to the right people at the right team. Divine connections are a reminder that we are not alone on our journey. God has surrounded us with people who are meant to help us, encourage us, and walk alongside us. These relationships are gifts from God. And when we nurture them, they become powerful catalysts for growth, opportunity, and transformation. As you move forward in your life, be open to the divine connections that God is sending your way. They are part of the beautiful plan He has designed for your life, and they will help you step into the fullness of your purpose. Life has a way of surprising us with blessings that come from unexpected places. We often look for favor in the usual spots, places where we feel comfortable, where we have connections, or where we think things should happen. However, God's favor doesn't always show up in the places we expect. Sometimes it arrives in the most unlikely situations, through people we never imagined, and in circumstances that seem less than ideal. The truth is, God's favor isn't confined to our plans, our timing, or even our understanding. When He decides to bless you, His favor will find you even in the most unexpected places. Favor in unlikely places often requires us to step out of our comfort zones. We might find ourselves in unfamiliar territory, facing challenges or situations that seem beyond our control. It's easy to become discouraged when things don't go according to plan or when life takes an unexpected turn. But I want to remind you today that this is precisely when God's favor can show up in the most remarkable ways. The people, opportunities, or blessings that come into your life during these uncertain times are not coincidences. They are part of God's divine plan. He specializes in turning seemingly difficult or barren places into places of abundance and blessing. When we face trials or situations that feel like setbacks, it's easy to focus on the negative. We may wonder why things aren't going as planned, or why we aren't getting the recognition or opportunities we feel we deserve. But I believe that it's in these very moments that God is positioning us for favor. He uses the challenges we face to refine us, teach us, and prepare us for what's to come. And often it's in the midst of hardship that His favor shows up in the most surprising ways. People we didn't expect may offer support. Opportunities may open up when we least anticipate them, or doors that seem closed may swing wide open. Sometimes God's favor comes through people who are completely different from us, people we never would have chosen to connect with, or people who seem to have little in common with us. But these are the divine appointments that God arranges. The person who appears in your life may be someone you never imagined would help you, but their support, encouragement, or guidance can make all the difference. We often overlook the possibility that God's favor can come through those who don't fit into our typical idea of what a helper or mentor looks like. But when God is at work, He uses whoever He chooses, often in ways that we would never expect. In some cases, God's favor shows up in places we never thought to look. Maybe you've been seeking a promotion or opportunity in one particular area and it seems like nothing is happening. But then, out of nowhere, a new opportunity arises in a completely different area, one you hadn't even considered before. What may seem like a detour or a side road could very well be the path that God has laid out for you, filled with opportunities you never imagined. The favor you've been seeking might not always be found in the places you've been looking. It might be waiting for you in an unexpected location. Favor in unlikely places doesn't always come with immediate recognition or reward. Sometimes God's favor works quietly behind the scenes, preparing the way for greater blessings. You may not see the results right away, but trust that God is working on your behalf. The favor that you receive now may not seem significant, but it could be the very thing that opens the door to something much bigger. We have to learn to trust God's timing, knowing that His favor will show up exactly when we need it most, and that it will often come from the most unexpected sources. As you go through life, keep your eyes open for God's favor in unlikely places. It might not look the way you expected, and it might not come in the package you imagined. But rest assured, God's favor is never limited by your circumstances or your expectations. When He chooses to bless you, He does so in ways that are beyond what you can think or imagine. The favor He gives you may be unexpected, but it will always be perfect for your life and will always lead you closer to the destiny He has designed for you. When you experience favor in unlikely places, remember to give thanks. Don't take it for granted, but recognize it as God's hand at work in your life. These moments of favor are not accidents. They are part of God's plan to bless you and elevate you to the next level. Keep your heart open, stay faithful, and trust that when God's favor shows up in unlikely places, it is always for your good. There is something incredibly powerful about moving forward with joyful confidence. Life is full of uncertainties, and we are often faced with challenges, doubts, and fears about what the future holds. However, when we embrace a mindset of joyful confidence, we tap into a source of strength that allows us to face whatever comes our way with hope, courage, and optimism. This confidence is not based on our own abilities or circumstances. It is grounded in the unshakable truth that God is with us, that He has a plan for our lives, and that He will guide us every step of the way. Joyful confidence is a choice. It's not something that just happens to us. It's something we must decide to cultivate in our hearts and minds. It doesn't mean that we ignore the challenges or pretend that everything is perfect. Instead, it means choosing to trust in God's promises, knowing that He is faithful to fulfill them. It means acknowledging the difficulties we face, but choosing to focus on the hope that lies ahead, the future that is bright with possibility, and the peace that comes from knowing we are never alone. One of the key elements of joyful confidence is trusting in God's plan. Life doesn't always go the way we expect. Sometimes we face setbacks, detours, or disappointments. In these moments, it's easy to become discouraged or wonder if we're on the right path. But when we trust that God is in control, we can approach the future with a sense of confidence and assurance. God's plan for our lives is always good, even when we can't see the full picture. His timing is perfect and His ways are higher than our ways. This trust allows us to move forward with joy, knowing that God is working everything together for our good. Confidence also comes from remembering how far we've come. Often we get so focused on what lies ahead that we forget to reflect on the journey that has brought us to this point. Take a moment to look back on your life and see the times when God has shown up for you, when He has opened doors, provided for you, and guided you through difficult times. Remembering His faithfulness in the past builds our confidence for the future. If He has been faithful before, we can trust that He will be faithful again. This reflection gives us the courage to face the unknown, knowing that God has never failed us and never will. Another important aspect of joyful confidence is having a positive perspective on the future. It's easy to be overwhelmed by the challenges we face and to focus on the obstacles in front of us. But when we choose to see the future with eyes of faith, we begin to see opportunities rather than obstacles. We begin to expect good things to happen, knowing that God is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating events for our benefit. A positive perspective fuels our confidence because it helps us see the potential in every situation. Even when things aren't going as planned, we can remain hopeful because we trust that God is still at work, shaping our future for His glory. Joyful confidence is also rooted in the strength of knowing that we are not alone. It's easy to feel isolated or uncertain when we're facing the unknown, but God promises to never leave us or forsake us. We are never walking through life's challenges by ourselves. His presence is with us, guiding us, comforting us, and giving us the strength to persevere. This knowledge fills us with peace and confidence. We don't have to carry the weight of the future on our own. God is walking with us, and He will provide everything we need. As we move toward the future with joyful confidence, we must also remember that our attitude matters. Confidence is not just about our belief in what God can do. It's also about how we approach each day. We can choose to face the future with an attitude of faith, hope, and expectation, or we can choose to be overwhelmed by fear and doubt. When we choose joy and confidence, we are setting ourselves up for success. We are opening ourselves to the blessings God has in store for us, and we are positioning ourselves to make the most of every opportunity. Ultimately, joyful confidence for the future is about living with the assurance that God has great things ahead for us. We may not know exactly what the future holds, but we can be confident that it is good because God is good. His plans for us are full of hope and purpose, and with Him by our side, we can face whatever comes with courage, joy, and a heart full of faith. When we embrace this kind of confidence, we walk into the future not with fear, but with the boldness to embrace all that God has in store for us. Our future is bright, our path is secure, and with joyful confidence, we can face whatever lies ahead, knowing that we are more than capable because of the strength God provides.